people in the USA are all worried about how I'm going to get this new iPod or this new iPad, but they never think about how I'm going to give back to the community when we have hungry kids out here and jobless people. We have a video. Do the speakers come on in? The speakers. Poverty is still an issue in America. 47 million Americans are at or below poverty rate. The government efforts such as the AFDC earn income tax credits and food stamps. The number one problem that has affected the U.S. poverty is the loss of jobs. The loss of jobs create other problems such as child hunger. Jobs and child hunger are two problems that must be corrected or our economy will be in destruction. Even before the recession, Americans were having difficult times making ends meet and struggling to get back on their feet. More families had to choose between necessity shelters, child care, or food. We can correct the job and child care problems by the Farm Bill. It provides an opportunity to reshape the current and broken agriculture policies and to build more just framework that better serves small and medium-sized families. Farms in the U.S. promotes good stewardship of the land and helps overcome hunger at home and help vulnerable farmers and their families in developing countries. It also provides opportunity to strengthen and improve the Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program, which is known as the Food Stamp or EBT program. the key part of the fight assisted hunger in the United States and the strengthening international food security aid programs for starving people. Another way to is to another way to correct the problem is by undergoing the federal budget. It is a moral document that reflects our priorities as society. The budget includes two types of spending: discretionary and mandatory. And discretionary is a subject to the annual appropriate process where Congress sets the level of spending on programs such as education, social service, housing, and all this equals about 2/3 of the federal spending. The mandatory spending is 2/3 of the federal budget and includes entitlement programs such as the supplement nutrition program, Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, and local income tax credits. Of the two solutions that we presented, they both have been effective and has helped the society out, because when there are more jobs, there are less children that are hungry, and the federal budget, it helps bring in more jobs so that the farmers can work and provide more food for the low income and the disfortunate. Next, we have innovative solutions. Poverty cannot be fixed without money. The U.S. labor market no longer provides a reliable way to build a stable career. Without a stable career, there is no actual way of receiving a definite job. When people have jobs, they will be able to provide for their family and continue to help transition themselves to better environments and stable living arrangements. I mean, some people go to school for so many years and won't even be able to get a job. There are not many jobs out here because, I mean, I know that when I was in high school, it was hard for me to find a job. There are some pictures here, like he's being laid off, wrecked his lives, and they have so many job losses, it's hard. Another solution is to offer incentives to those who have low incomes. I know they have like WIC and food stamps and Section 8 and things like this, but it's still hard being that you can't have a job to provide for your family yourself. You're dependent on
the government to keep helping you, but you actually won't be able to have a job yourself. Low-income families have fixed items such as child care, transportation, rent, and utilities. Those are things that they have to have, things that they really need. Some people think food is not something that they have to have, so they mostly cut back on it. That way a child doesn't have the nutrients that they need to, function correctly in school and, be healthy. And it also falls back on people. Even though we have a lot of people in poverty, some people they don't want a job. They just want to sit back at home and lay. So it's not just the government. It needs to be you. You need to get up. You need to go find a job. You need to work hard for what you need to do. I mean, your children can't do it. You have to do it. So it's not just, people, just the government. It also lies on the people that are in poverty. Some of them that won't get up and get a job. Some of them that just, sit around thinking that, hoping a job is going to fall in their hands and things like
that. Okay. This is the first article that I found about alcohol, drug use, and poverty. And the purpose was for the concentration of poverty, and it meditates the relationship among individual predators, subject use, and violent crimes. Participants were mainly male arrestees. They didn't use female arrestees because males are more likely to be perpetrators of aggressive crimes. And the method used was the ADAM method, and it combines the measures of violent, aggressive actions and drug and alcohol use with measures of ethnicity for over 20,000 respondents, resulting in poverty. The sample is relatively young and educated, with average age around 30 for these results. Alright, purpose: examine the role and interaction of neighborhood poverty and racial composition on transplant waitlists using the USRDS. And the USRDS is a national database which collects, analyzes, and distributes info about end-stage renal disease. And most of the participants were black residents. And like I said, it used 2,000 of the SF3 to derive the racial and economic composition for each individual's neighborhood for residents. And the results, using the USRDS method, it supported the work indicating that neighborhood poverty and racial affected the likelihood of being listed on the disease donor kidney list. This is my case study that I looked within, and he is 16, but back when this happened, he was 14, and he's from Nepal, and he's one out of 8 children in a family struggling to make ends meet. His father owns a corn harvest, and they don't really make that much money. And his father isn't there the whole year. He's there half the year, and he works as a porter for other families. And
What's a porter?
he helps around cows and help the other families clean houses. Hamal helped his dad, which took out of most of his education, and he only went to school once a week. And, well, basically a week out of the whole school year. And his mom and sister stayed at home to do all the housework. And they went over, well, the Moist Rebels, which are people who come to Nepal and they get children to work for them in the army and take them from their families. And they have this one family, one child policy where you have to have one child per family, and if you have more than one child, then the oldest one has to go and work for the army. And his father didn't want him to go, so they shipped him to another country, which is called Bharatnagar. And he was 14 at the time, but now he's 16. And he became a domestic worker, which he took care of cows and cleaned houses like his dad. And that came to about $7 a month. And the Forum came to his rescue. And the Forum are people who help underprivileged children, especially domestic children, workers with non-formal education, and they send them to put kids back in school. And Hamal now manages a cow farm and goes to class. And most students are not as fortunate as Hamal. 65% of children enrolled in primary school complete a 5th grade education, and just 31% enroll in secondary school.
We're actually already out of time. The only thing we have left is questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, we can dedicate time to the questions at this point. I just have one comment that I want to do. Go ahead and finish your evaluation sheets for